Just what's up, witches? How we doing? What's up? What's up? Surprise! Surprise, surprise. What's going on? Who's up right now? Who's here? What's up? What's up? Let's see who's here. I felt like including you guys. I'm live in 2 places right now. Where else? I'm sure you can figure out. But I am waiting for folks to come into the room. And I felt like pulling some cards for this full moon that we just had because there are 2 full moons in the same sign, which is not common. It's pretty rare when that happens. I don't know how rare it is, but it's not a super common occurrence. So we just had a full moon in Capricorn, and we're going to have another full moon in Capricorn at the end of July. So the next full moon is going to be in Capricorn too, which is pretty cool. And I thought that was kind of special because this past full moon in Capricorn was really special for me. It was a special moment. I got to share it with a really good friend, and I feel like the magic that we worked and the energy that we worked, we get to kind of like keep going until the next Capricorn full moon and maybe like renew it. So I kind of want to see how that energy is going to manifest for the different elements, the different signs. So I don't often go live for collective readings anymore, but I felt like this was a good one for everybody in the collective to have some idea of how to use the power of this like double whammy full moon to their benefit. So I'm going to do that and see how long I have time to do that. I was thinking. If folks did anything for this last full moon, let me know. I'm curious what you did. My ritual actually took place right here. And so that was pretty cool. And was very much centered around like work and work product, which I think makes a lot of sense for Capricorn energy. Hi there. Thanks for liking. Welcome, welcome. What's up, witches? I feel like Capricorn energy. Hey, Ajna. Welcome, my dear. I feel like Capricorn energy is obviously very related to our work product, being an earth sign. If you guys know Capricorns, if you know any Capricorns in your life, then you probably already know that they are very, very much committed to their work, to how they show up at work. That's a big part of like their identity. Hello. Hi, Mona Mermaid. Welcome. What's up, witches? I love when people come in during my surprise lives because it's like, who knows who's on YouTube at like 11:30 at night on a Tuesday. So good to see you guys. Oh, it's Monica. Hey, Monica. How you doing? So Capricorns in general tend to be really devoted to their work. They tend to see their identity kind of tied up in their work product and how they do at work, for good and bad. I did enjoy my vacation. Thank you. It's coming to an end. This is my last night. Tomorrow I'll be in the shop bright and early, starting off the day first thing in the morning with a coaching session with one of the Better Witches from this semester. So I get right back to it. So that's exciting. But yeah, this is my last night to myself. And while folks are coming in the room, I'll show you these cards. I'm live in 2 places, y'all. Waiting for folks to come into the room over here on this other live, which some of you know me well enough to know where else I'm live. So if you want to see me over there, you can go over there. But look at those beautiful red gilded edges. Aren't these beautiful? So I showed these cards like maybe a couple of months ago. Hey, Valentonia. These are the M13 tarot cards that we're actually giving away in the shop right now. So if you leave a review for HQ on Google this month, you are entered to win these cards. Aren't they so pretty? They are so gorgeous. Love them. And the designs on them are just so cool, so epic. So they seem, they're really appropriate for where I'm live elsewhere. So I was like, okay, these images are a great deck for doing readings over there. But I figured I would use them just for everybody, because that was kind of, not to reveal too much, but there was definitely like a sex magic component to what I did for this full moon in Capricorn that we just had. So these cards feel extra like relevant. Hey, Takara. And if you're just coming in the building, I was just telling everybody that we have 2 full moons back to back in the same sign, which doesn't always happen. It's not necessarily like rare. I don't know if I would say it's rare, but it doesn't happen that often. And it's extra powerful when it does happen, because it's like getting 2 bites at the apple. If you didn't get a chance to do anything for this past full moon and call in this Capricorn energy, this work related energy, and you have things you want to manifest related to work, related to your professional goals, maybe a business that you're starting or changes that you want to make where you currently work, things like that, you get another bite of the apple. On I think the 21st of July will be another full moon in Capricorn. If you did call in that energy during the full moon that we just have, for me, it's kind of like a sandwich effect where the results of that should start to reveal itself over the next few weeks and kind of like peak in the middle. And then you'll see the results of what you put into place this past full moon by the next full moon. And that's very uplifting and exciting for me, because that's the full moon right before I kick off my BetterWitch Business Intensive, which is going to be a 6-week coaching and class experience for anybody who's interested in building a spiritual business and looking to not only replace their 9 to 5 with what they do, tarot readings, energy healing, maybe you make products, etc. But I'm going to be sharing with you how I've been able to lay the foundation that I have at HQ for a 6-figure business. And I'm going to be introducing you to the professionals that have helped me to do that, my team. I'm going to be teaching you what I have learned. I've learned so much in the last 5 years, especially as somebody who has had to what's called bootstrap their business, meaning I didn't have any investors. I didn't have a bunch of money saved up. I didn't have like the world's greatest credit score. I have literally taken the success of the shop and the sales that we've had and carried that forward every month to build upon that and build upon that and build upon that. And I've made mistakes along the way. I've hired people that I shouldn't have. just all a part of the learning process. And I want to teach that to the next person so that your journey into creating your six-figure spiritual business is a little bit smoother than mine is, and maybe happens a little bit faster for you. So really excited about that, and the fact that the next Capricorn full moon happens right before we start those classes. So that feels really good to me. I'm putting a lot of energy into that. I'm so proud of how the program has come to be and everything that I've put in it so far. I still have 3 more weeks to put in even more offers, even more referrals, even more knowledge. And I'm very much excited about it. So that's pretty cool for me. So do you guys have any work-related or professional-related goals that the full moon in Capricorn energy could lend itself to? Drop it down in the comments if you do. I'm curious if any of you guys are spiritual professionals as well. Any tarot readers in the building, Reiki healers in the building. Perhaps you do custom spell work for people or make candles. I'm curious how many of the Bronx witches are business witches, boss witches too. And since that's the question that I'm asking, and the energy that this full moon is very much in alignment with, then I'm thinking I am going to pull cards for each of the elements, each of the zodiac elements. So fire, air, earth, and water, sun, moon, and rising signs. And I would say sun, moon, rising, and also Mars, your Mars placement. Your Mars placement is very much attached to the areas of your life that have to do with action, taking action, overcoming challenges. Mars is the planet of, war, the warrior spirit. And so how do you plan on tackling challenges that you may be overcoming in your life? Especially professional challenges, financial challenges, things like that. So I want you to think about that, especially if you are a spiritual practitioner of any kind. Especially if you're somebody that would like to do the spiritual or magical work that you do full time, if you would like to see your 9 to 5 replaced with the spiritual or magical work that you do, how can you make that happen? And how can these double full moons in Capricorn support that and help you with that? So, and if you see me looking that way, it's just because I am live in 2 places. And I'm just keeping an eye over here to see if anybody joins. Nobody has over here just yet. So I'm all yours, YouTube, for now. So let's get started. And I think because it's Capricorn, I feel called to start with the earth signs. So if you are an earth, sun, moon, rising, or Mars earth placement, I want to ask Spirit how you can use this double full moon energy to propel yourself to the next level professionally. Okay, that's my question. How can you use the double energy of the full moon in Capricorn to propel yourself financially, earth signs? No spiritual practitioners in the room? I'm not seeing any comments about that. No tarot readers, no Reiki healers, just me? Okay. Mm. Okay, earth signs. There's a lot of liberation from loss here and betrayal. Very interesting. Um, yeah, you do tarot, Hendrix? Yeah. Okay. So if you do tarot as like a side project, do you have aspirations to replace your 9 to 5 with being a reader? Is that something that you want to do full time? Do you want to see yourself have enough clients, be booked consistently enough? If so, definitely, make sure you're on my mailing list. I have a class that I'm teaching tomorrow night. I have a business intensive this summer, all for spiritual practitioners. And this full moon situation where we're having 2 full moons back to back in the same sign doesn't happen often. I think is really perfect for that because there are 2 back to back full moons in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign most related to our work product and our professional, how we show up in the world as professionals. So this reading might be really, really helpful for you, but I definitely hope to see you in class too. So earth signs, sun, moon, rising, and Mars. If you have earth placements in any of those planets, you are liberating yourself over this 30-day period. These 2 full moons are like shining a light on the ways in which you need to liberate yourself from some loss and some betrayal here. So we have the very first thing that popped out to me was the nature of this Eight of Swords. In so many depictions of the Eight of Swords, the person is liberating themselves out of that bondage. And it's so interesting that she is more of like a BDSM type of character, because when you're a BDSM character, bondage is something that you have enjoyed. So for you, Earth signs, I wonder if some of the entrapment, quote unquote, or limitations that you have, you actually take joy in. And what I mean by that is you're comfortable in those limitations, right? So sometimes we just get really used to being in a certain place and we'll blame that and say, I can't pursue this thing because I don't have the right home environment, or so and so won't let me do this, my husband won't let me do this, my mom won't let me do this. And I say mom because the Queen of Swords came through here. My mom won't let me do this, but deep down you know that that's not really stopping you. You're almost like pretending like that's stopping you in order to kind of give yourself an excuse for not taking on the next challenge and moving on to the next level and embarking on that project or whatever it is. So I'm kind of calling you out here, earth signs, that you are maybe making more of the limitations around you than they really are, because that's what it feels like. Like I'm entrapped, but I actually enjoy being entrapped because it's kind of comfortable and I can just sort of sit here and not do more because so and so is the problem. And I feel really strongly that for many of you, that individual is a feminine figure. So this might be a mom. The Queen of Swords is like that overbearing. Whenever I see the Queen of Swords in the reverse, the first word that comes to me is bitch. So you might have an overbearing employer, supervisor that's not letting you like expand and grow into all of the possibilities of what you could do. They're not giving you the freedom and the space to like step into the next role, level up, maybe get a promotion, maybe take on more responsibilities. Or this could be like a mother type figure that really comes down on you hard with her words, might kind of knock your goals, knock your plans, and reinforce that idea that you can't do things, or might not want to see you do things. And there is heartache associated with this in many ways, like just being prevented from being able to do what you want to do. But again, I just keep coming back to the comfort and the enjoyment that the Eight of Swords is having here on the low. Like she's actually enjoying it. So it's like, oh no, I'm tied up. Like, oh, I'm tied up. Oh no, I can't do anything. But it's like, you kind of like that. You don't really want to do anything, or you do want to, but you have fears, and it's easier to just be like, oh no, I'm tied up, than it is to actually be like, that's really, I could overcome that if I wanted to. So since these two full moons are about overcoming challenges and putting in the work, I think for you earth signs, the first thing that you're going to have to do is admit that you don't have as many limitations as you think you do. You aren't as limited, you aren't as trapped as you think you are, and there's a part of you that's a little bit comfortable. You know, when I think about earth signs, I think about my Tauruses, I think about my Virgos, I think about the ways in which comfort kind of plays into what you are more inclined to lean towards, especially my Tauruses. You really like when things are comfortable. Making yourself uncomfortable is not really like something you really enjoy. And so, even though you might have aspirations for something else, if it involves being uncomfortable, you're more likely to just be like, oh, I'm just going to sit here in my pasture and chew my grass. This is so much easier. But the problem with that is, anytime we have a vision in our mind of something that we could be doing and we're not pursuing it, it's going to low key torture us. And so, you're going to continue to feel sort of tortured by this idea of what you want to become, that's coming up against the conflict of you not being willing to be uncomfortable for a while you work towards that. So if there's anything I could encourage you to do, it would be to channel this full moon energy to try to push you past that and allow you to focus on the end result, so that going through the discomfort would be not necessarily pleasing. Like there's never going to be anything pleasing about the discomfort, but so that going through that discomfort feels more intentional and there's a purpose. And it's not just about being uncomfortable like for no reason. You're being uncomfortable for a goal. Okay. And it's interesting that this figure in the Three of Wands, she's like superhuman size, and she's standing up against these like street lights. But this particular street light literally looks like it's up her butt, like in an uncomfortable way. So you are going to continue to be in discomfort if you don't like allow that dream that's in your mind to actually become something. So you got to break out of this fake prison that you're in and accept that it's going to be hard work. But the payoff is going to get rid of that feeling of like, ugh, I'm not making anything of myself, or, oh, I have this dream that's never going to be. Like, it's just going to keep haunting you, basically. Okay, Earth signs. Still feel so alive. I'm in love with a girl that I see on the side. We both know the truth, but I still tell a lie. Love with a girl that I see on the side. Yes, that's what I'm dealing with. I have a Capricorn stellium in my second house. Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune all in Capricorn, building my confidence so I can take my leap of faith. Okay, yay! You are so welcome. Yeah, with all those Capricorn placements, I would imagine that a double full moon in Capricorn would really hit you hard. And I think the important thing to realize is that, you know, you're being called out basically. And you know it, like you're being called out, that you have this vision in your mind of what you want to do, And being comfortable where you are is fighting up against that vision of something much bigger and much better. And you know that the journey from where you are to where you want to be involves hard work and discomfort, and you're kind of running away from that. And that vision is just going to keep haunting you until you make it a reality. So let's do that. And if these messages resonate with you guys, you can always leave a super chat, which is a wonderful way to say thank you for my energy. Thank you for my time. Thank you to my spirit guides for coming forward with these messages on your behalf. And if you feel like you ever want to dive deeper into these messages and get one specifically for yourself, then in the description is a link to book me for a private reading. Not this kind of private reading, a regular private reading. I am the body, I am. All right, so that was Earth. I feel called to do Fire next. Dance how you wanna dance, over and over again. Fire signs. Thank you, my love. Love you very, very much. Thank you. Let's see if I can love this. Yes, I can. Yay. Thank you very much. Down. Let me in your fire signs, fire signs. Sun, moon, rising, and Mars. That would be me. My Mars is in Aries. Yes, for the Sagittarius in the house. Thank you, Hendrix. Love you, babe. You're always so supportive. I appreciate you. I haven't even pulled your cards yet. Thank you for that. Appreciate you very much. Especially because no one has come in the room yet over on my other live. People busy on a Tuesday night? Maybe. Okay, fire signs, fire signs. Sun, moon, rising, and Mars, which is me. I'm a Leo sun, but my Mars is in Aries. Wait, is that true? My Mars might be in Capricorn. I think my Mars is in Capricorn, actually. Come to think of it. Okay. Sun, moon, rising, and Mars placements in fire signs. How can you use the energy of this double full moon in Capricorn to propel yourself professionally? All the astrologers have been talking about quantum leaps this summer, not little steps. So how do you propel yourself, big step, professionally? Let's see. Fire signs, there's some shifting mentally. There's a really big shift happening with you mentally. This is a very mindset shift type of situation. It's interesting. It's almost like the shift has been happening and now we're getting to the end of the finish line. So this probably will sound very much like not a surprise to you, fire signs. This will sound like this is a process that has been underway, and now the light of these full moons, like when the moon is full, we have like not sunlight type illumination, but like the best possible illumination in the dark that you can expect to have. So for you, like you have the moon here. So you have the moon, but coming up in the reverse. And what it feels like is like there's like a dark period in between. I feel like for you, fire signs, the new moon actually is going to probably be a really important time for you guys. There's a new moon in Cancer happening on like the 5th or 6th of July. Happens right in between these two full moons. And I feel like that's the point where this mindset shift that you've been undergoing is going to finally like hit its moment. So like if you feel cloudy, if you feel confused, professionally, if you're not sure what to pursue, if you're not sure if you should be changing jobs, if you're not sure if you should be asking for that raise, if you're not sure if you should be embarking on your own and starting that business or quitting your day job, if you're not sure but you feel like you're getting close to figuring out what the answer is going to be, that's because you are. That's because you are. You're going to have a lot of clarity around the new moon in Cancer coming up. That's right in between these two full moons, where the thoughts that you've been having, the ideas that you've been having are going to finally go from moving to being like, okay, here we are. I'm decided. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing next. I know the decision that I'm going to make. I've analyzed the factors, and I've also gotten like the spirit enough spiritual signs, synchronicities, whatever, for me to feel really, really confident. I say that because you have both the Six of Swords in reverse and the Knight of Swords in reverse, and both of these energies are about movement of thought, making decisions. You know, the Six of Swords is about changing location, not just physically, but mentally, going from, you know, wherever you were at point A to wherever you're trying to be at point B. And it's like the journey. And then all of the Knight cards are all messengers. The Knights deliver messages and carry messages. And the swords are related to our mental capacity. So all of this is about an energy of making decisions and going from one place of thought to another place of thought. So, and it feels very much like this was already underway. And if it hasn't been going on for a long time, it definitely started with this past full moon, which was Saturday, Friday night of last week, where you were like, you know what, I think I want to do something different, but I'm not sure if I'm ready. I'm not sure what that something different would be, and everything started to kind of kick up. You might have had a lot of dreams this past weekend that felt like premonitions or felt prophetic, um, or felt like somebody was delivering a message to you, but just not really being fully sure what to make of it. This new moon, you will understand much better what to make of it. And then the beauty of that is you have 2 weeks leading up until the full moon to kind of start taking action. So if you are not taking action right now, I wouldn't be too stressed about it. You're still in the transitional mental phase where more is going to be revealed to you by then. very relevant for me, for sure. Because I have personally been thinking about a lot of things about HQ, different things that I want to try, different things that I want to explore, and not being fully like sure about it. And I think I thought I would have clarity about it by now because I did just have a vacation, and I was telling myself like, okay, I'm going to have so much rest, and by the time I'm done with my vacation, I'm going to know exactly what I want to do. But my vacation's over officially tonight. I go back to the shop tomorrow, and I don't really feel like I know exactly what I want to do, even though I have these ideas. So that's enlightening for me to realize that the clarity that I'm seeking probably won't happen until the week after, next week, the end of next week. And I still need some time to let my mind kind of transition from what I'm used to or what I was originally thinking I was going to do to this new approach. That makes a lot of sense for me. So I pray that resonates for you too. Hey, Mariah. The timeline is spot on. That's how I feel. That's how I feel, Hendrik. So I feel like in my mind, I was like, by the time my vacation is over, I'm going to know exactly what I'm going to do. I have these ideas, but I don't know if it's worth bothering to like try them out. What should I do them? I don't know. It's definitely going to be work on my part. Do I want to do it? Blah, 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 blah. And I thought that by now, because I was talking about it with my business coach, and she was like, well, you're going on vacation. Don't decide right now. Go rest, relax, see your family. When you come back, we'll talk about it. We'll see if we want to implement these things. We'll see if we want to try these things. And I was definitely expecting to meet with her on Thursday this week and be like, hey, this is what I've decided. And I don't feel that way. I feel like I'm close, but I don't feel like I'm there just yet. And it would make sense that, maybe I need a couple more weeks going into July, let this full moon in Capricorn that just happened kind of settle in, and really see how it feels and what else is revealed to me, because I have no idea what opportunities or things might come up in the next couple weeks that might make the ideas that I have like not possible, or maybe I need to hire another person or whatever. So yeah, the timeline is spot on for me too, Hendrix. It's so good to see you, Mariah. Thank you, my dear. Thank you very much. I was joking the last high tea that I'm glowing because it's hot. Hopefully y'all can hear me because I have like 4 fans and an AC on right now. Definitely like that more clarity will be available around the new moon. Yeah. Yeah, I can be a little impulsive too, Takara. I think that's just the fire sign in us, where like we get an idea and we're like, all right, let's go. And definitely check and see what sign your Mars is in. Because if your Mars is in like a sign like Aries, you are definitely impulsive. If your Mars is in a sign like Pisces, you are definitely impulsive, but from like an emotional place, like I feel this, let me move. So see what sign your Mars is in. So I haven't told you guys, Takara knows about this, how I manifested tickets to this concert. That's why I've been listening to Usher 24/7 these days, because I'm going to go see him in concert. But I'm manifesting more around the concert, so that's why I'm not talking about it, because when I'm in the process of manifesting something, I usually kind of keep it to myself a little bit, so that my energy is not like impacted by anybody else. But in case you're wondering why it's like Usher nonstop every time I go live and every time I do something, that's why. Come and get your money. Come get it, come get it, come get it. Oh yeah, thinking about turning around, my mind has been turning about getting back to work now that the baby is 6 months. Which, by the way, congratulations again, my dear. The journey. It's so wonderful for me to see your beautiful family. Just knowing the journey that you all have been on, and I'm so happy for all of you. And just like, yeah, bundles and bundles of joy. I'm just so happy for that. Your Mars is 0 degrees in Aries. Okay, so you might be a little impulsive. Aries. So when I think about Aries in terms of like the tarot, um, Aries, when it's a little underdeveloped is the word I would say, maybe not at its most mature, is the Knight of Wands for me. The Knight of Wands is big, big Aries energy, full steam ahead. I don't know where I'm going. I don't even necessarily care how I'm going to get there, but I got to get there. Your horse looks like it's freaking out. It doesn't know what the plan is. You are just like, whatever, full steam ahead. When Aries becomes a little bit more mature, a little bit more measured, a little bit more patient, a little bit more thoughtful, then the Aries energy levels up not just to the King of Wands, but all the way up to the Emperor. And that's where you want to be ultimately. For anybody with like Mars, Aries, Mars and Aries placements, Sun and Aries placements, like if that fiery tendency to just go when you get an idea or go when you see something that you like tends to get you into trouble, know that that's a great thing. There's no part of you that is not intentional. There's no part of you that is not a part of you for a reason. You came here with that particular astrological makeup for a reason. So having the impulse to go and to take charge and to move forward is what makes the emperor a great emperor. Where some people would sit there and go, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure. The emperor's like, let's go, let's do it, let's get it done. But the difference between the emperor and the Knight of Wands is that the emperor actually takes the time to pull out the map and lay out a route, make sure their generals are in place, make sure that everybody's going to have provisions for the trip, send a messenger up ahead to scout the grounds. The emperor just has the wisdom to not just jump on your horse without any pre-planning and go. So everybody who has like Aries placements where you want to go is from Knight of Wands up to Emperor. King of Wands is nice too, but really you want to be the Emperor. You really want to get to that place where you really embody the power that Aries has, measured with the authority and the ability to plan ahead. Not just for yourself, but for everybody. All reverses as well. Yeah. Spirit's just telling us to wait. Fire signs, just telling the fire signs to wait. Don't worry. Try your best to not let yourself get freaked out. Not let yourself, feel like you've imposed certain deadlines on yourself. Realize that the deadlines that you have probably are self-created deadlines, and just say, okay, let me just chill, be present in the moment, and let it come to me. It is coming. A place to get out. Some shit that's on my mind. What would you do if I said I need space, even if it's space from you? Trying to keep the touch nigga on the leash. Okay. YouTube is probably going to totally shut me down for playing this music, by the way. But all right. So fire signs, if those messages resonated with you, you can always say thank you with the super chat. If you want to dive deeper into how this double full moon in Capricorn is going to impact you in your life, then book a reading with me. I recommend for all of you, if you are considering booking a reading with me, book the 6-month projection. Okay, all of my readings cost the same, so it doesn't matter what kind you get. Book the 6 month projection. We are at the perfect time of the year for a 6 month projection. What does July through December hold for you? Starting with this July in Capricorn full moon throughout the rest of the year, what can you expect? What should you be working on? What do you need to focus on? That's what I would do if I were you. And of course, you can always do a general reading or spirit guide or what have you. But if I were you and you were thinking about getting a reading from me, I would go for the 6 month projection at this point of the year to prepare yourself for the rest of 2024. Would be my choice. That's just me. All right, we did earth and fire. Let's do water next. Water. Water signs. What do you need to know in order to utilize this double full moon in Capricorn energy to propel yourself professionally? Thank you so much, Mariah. Love you. Yes, love to the coven. We love you right back. Let's celebrate their third super on a live stream. Oh, okay. I think this is your third. Is it my third super or your third super? I don't know. YouTube wants us to celebrate. So let's celebrate. Oh! Okay. Water signs, water signs, water signs, sun, moon, rising, or Mars in water signs. What do you need to know in order to utilize this full moon in Capricorn energy to propel, not just tap, tap, but propel you professionally? Let's see. Let me put a ring on it. What do you need to know? Water signs. Water signs. This feels really like specific, so I don't know who exactly needs to hear this one. But first of all, I think the most important thing to know is that this down period that you've been through is finally turning around. We have the Wheel of Fortune in the upright coming up first. So, and it feels very much like there's been a I don't know if your family is particularly critical and judgmental, um, but that's what it feels like. So obviously that's super specific. So I don't know what water signs in here need to hear this, but the amount of criticism and judgment and like that thumb that your family generally or certain family members have had on you is very much going to be alleviating. And that's going to really allow for a lot of freedom, for a whole new sort of energy and era. What's the word? Aura, like just a whole era, an era, a different era of your life is the word I want to say. Um, it feels like you've been going through kind of a down patch for a long time that has a lot to do with your family or the people that feel like family, whether it's your community, your close friends. But really, it does feel like your actual family, maybe not immediate family, but like your extended family. But it just feels like there's been a lot of judgment around you, a lot of criticism around you, maybe a lot of doubt about what you're able to accomplish professionally. You may have ideas that they're not terribly supportive of, that they don't really want to invest in. You might feel like you can't go to your family to ask them for financial support of your dreams, or you may have asked them in the past and they've denied you and said no. Hey, Pisces in the building, let me know if this resonates with you. And I say that these two cards together here really made a really strong impression on me when I first saw them: Judgment and the King of Pentacles in the reverse. And um, it really just sort of feels like the support that you would want, the approval, the praise, but also the financial support that you would want from your family has very much been lacking. And something around that is shifting in between these two full moons. And I don't know if it's shifting because you're deciding to say to hell with it. I don't care. If you don't support me, I'm breaking out on my own. Obviously, this will be different for everybody. For some of you, it might be shifting because perhaps you've been able to convince your family otherwise, or they're having some type of a change of heart. But whatever it is for each of you, something big is shifting in that part of your life about how your family shows up for you, and how they talk about you, how they think about you, especially related to your professional pursuits and your dreams. So you might have a job that they're not terribly supportive of. That they don't think you should be investing in, or that you should be putting much energy or effort into, and they might be changing their mind about that. Maybe you started to make some coin on your own and they're like, oh, you can do this for a living, huh? Interesting. um, you know, for every water sign in here, it'll be something different, but there's a big shift coming for the better. Always love to see the Wheel of Fortune in the upright coming along. Um, in the upright, it's a very optimistic energy, but it's not small. It's not like, oh, I had a bad day and things are getting better. It's like, no, you've had a rough go of it for a while. This has been like an ongoing issue. And now it's really shifting into something different. And that has to do with how you see yourself, how you're approved of and accepted. Particularly with your family. And I really do think like the finances and the money in your family is tied to this in some way. Ah, okay. Yeah. Okay, so you are the black sheep because you are transgender. And that is definitely, yeah, I really love this figure here. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but like this figure here is very gender ambiguous. Like it's unclear whether like what's going on really with both of them. Okay. And there's a shift. So I wonder if like for you personally, your own judgment of yourself is also shifting too, where you're becoming more confident in who you really are. And yeah, that makes so much sense why the Wheel of Fortune would show up, because this is obviously not something you dealt with for, a couple of days, right? This has been your whole life, really becoming comfortable in your body, becoming comfortable with your gender identity, and really being able to say, I know what I am, regardless of what you think about it, regardless of what you assigned me as when I was born, regardless of what your hopes and dreams for me were. This is who I am. I know that now, and I'm really, really comfortable in it. And I think your comfort in yourself, the more real that is becoming for you, the more real it is becoming for your family members as well. Um, where people can't say stupid shit like, oh, it's a phase, or, maybe you'll change, or what, like stuff like that is very much going away. They're not able to pass those types of judgments on you. And any thoughts that they had that like you were going to have a life where you couldn't support yourself, a life where you couldn't thrive professionally, a life where you couldn't find a job, create a job for yourself, etc. Those feelings are starting to either go away, or you are starting to say, I don't give a shit that you think that. I'm going to go do my own thing. Okay. Which is beautiful, I think. And much, 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 much love to you on that journey. I can't imagine what that's like. You mentioned you're a tarot reader. So I know what it's like being a witch and having my family not accept that, not understand that, definitely not understand me opening up HQ. I have family members that used to tell my husband, like, why are you letting her do that? Why do you, like, you think this witch shop thing is a thing, like behind my back and shit? And those voices have been quieter and quieter and quieter with every year that HQ has managed to stay in business. That we have grown. Every time I appear on the news, every time I'm published in a book, every time we accomplish another milestone, those voices get quieter and quieter and quieter. Okay, so I don't know what it's like to have that journey in a gender way, but I do know what it's like to have that journey as a witch and have my family basically have no choice but to accept that I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, and I absolutely positively can and am thriving professionally and financially on this thing that many of them thought was like silly, evil, certainly a phase. My mom certainly thought being a witch was a phase and thought that, if she was just like an asshole about it and forced me to go to church, that I would let it go. So much for that 25 years later. So yeah, sometimes there's no other way to prove people wrong but then to live your truth and live it boldly, live it proudly, live it loudly, and live it well. Live it well. Just be you well. And yeah, and then they have no choice but to accept that whatever it was that they thought was going on wasn't actually what was going on. So yeah, period, that part. Okay. And if you are a tarot reader and you are interested in doing that full time, if you don't already, or if you already do it full time and would like to see that really grow into a long-term business, a business that perhaps can hire others, etc., I am teaching a class tomorrow night called Launching Your Spiritual Enterprise, Crucial Foundations to Lasting Success. And I'm going to show you how I have taken the 7 Hermetic principles, which I use for casting magic, and have applied them to my business. And now HQ is here. 3 years later, BronxWitch is turning 5 this year. And if you have any interest in being a tarot reader full time, maybe giving up your 9 to 5 and bringing your magic and your access to spirit to the world on a full time basis, I would love to see you in that class. So definitely check out the online portal and consider enrolling. If you're not available tomorrow night, all of my classes are evergreen. So whenever you sign up, you have immediate access to the replay. You can watch it whenever you want, download the materials whenever you want. It's yours for life once you enroll in the class. So I'd love to see you in the class. And if that message resonated with any of my water signs, I appreciate super chats as a thank you. And if you want to go deeper into these messages, you can always book a private reading with me. Links for all of these things are in the description. And I can tell by the way that she twerk, she from round here. Anytime I'm down here, I try to get her to move to LA, but she say that she can't. Down girl, but she can't to try. Sorry. So just in case somebody tries. So sorry. Town girl, but she never paid to get inside. Town girls. I can't say A-Town girl. I'm from the Bronx. It's against my genetic code. I have to say Uptown girl. And that's the sample that he used for the song, so it's not wrong. All right. That leaves air signs next. Yes, air signs. Sun, moon, rising, or Mars in an air sign. You are so welcome, my dear. Should keep a blicky on it just in case somebody tries. So sorry. Oh, these shorts look kind of funny at this angle. It's like I'm packing something extra over here. I'm not. I just can't do it like me. There. That's not too much tomorrow. Air signs, air signs. What do you need to know to maximize the energy of these 2 full moons in Capricorn to propel yourself professionally? Did she say that she came? She hates to drive. She keep a blicky on her just in case somebody tries. Got her own money, but she'd rather make it pay her way. Air signs, air signs, air signs. Sun, moon, rising, or Mars in an air sign. What do you need to know? What do you need to know? One of the first things I heard, air signs, was you are ready. And then the next thing that I heard was you already have what you need and you are where you need to be. Okay, so you may have been thinking that you need more in order to accomplish more, and I don't think that's the case for you. And I think the illumination of these 2 full moons is going to make that more obvious for you. This is very much feels like spirit is trying to point out the ways in which what you already have at your disposal and what you already have access to and where you are is right where you need to be. It's a shift in understanding what you can do and what you can take on. So you might have been thinking about like leaving a position or leaving a current job, maybe moving locations even. And you're getting the chariot in the reverse saying, stop looking for alternative locations where you are. Like when I get this energy, it's like pump the brakes, and sit where you are for a little bit longer, because there's something here that you're maybe not paying attention to. You're not looking at the ways that maybe you can repurpose what you already have in order to make this environment more comfortable. You're thinking that finding something else it, or somewhere else is the key to what you're trying to do, and it actually isn't. So I hope that isn't terribly disappointing if you've already been kind of like, you know, hell bent on moving or changing location or going somewhere else. But Spirit is not interested in making you like happy in that regard. It is always conspiring for your greatest good. Okay. And your greatest good is not necessarily always something that's going to make you happy in the moment or that you want to hear in the moment. Okay. So, yeah, I'm sorry if that's like bad news. Oh, Mariah's giving me a target. Spot on. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere just yet. But you are, I wonder if part of the motivation to move or change has a little bit of feeling like, okay, I'm not, I want to take on more. I want to take on more things. The Page of Swords is wielding this really big sword that it's like really excited to wield, but isn't necessarily like totally ready to wield yet. So there's responsibilities or challenges or tasks and things that you want to take on, but you're not quite ready yet. You're not quite ready yet. And this is so interesting, this magician. Mariah, this is such a relief. I love when I am, but I have a feeling it's not enough. Yeah. Well, it's not that it's not enough. It's not that it's not enough. It's more that you haven't really given all of the aspects of where you are enough like opportunity. So like think about the ways in which whatever that other thing it is that you wanted to go do, could you do something similar where you are? Could you bring some of that energy into where you are? So I think you were talking earlier about thinking about going back to work. Are there aspects of what you do in your line of work that you could do from home while with your child? If I think maybe you teach yoga or did at some point, if you taught yoga, could you do that virtually at home? Could you have like a neighborhood yoga class that you did that was a little bit less pressure on you to show up to work every day? I'm taking free yoga in the park right now with one of our neighborhood organizations, and they rotate through the teachers. And I think the teachers volunteer because it's totally free. We don't pay to do it. So, like, could you do something like that? Some type of volunteer free class that you taught, so you could still exercise those muscles, still get to kind of participate in the parts of what your job entails that you really love, without taking on the full responsibilities and the full pressure and weight of returning to work full time. Because there's definitely a feeling of like, okay, just not yet. And with this Page of Swords, it's really important because, like, she's all exposed and stuff. One wrong slip of that sword, we could, lose a nipple or something. So like the not to be a fearmonger or like scare you, but like the repercussions of moving too quickly into something that you're not quite ready for could be kind of painful. They could be kind of intense. So it doesn't really feel like it's worth it to take that chance. So I would sit still and look for ways in which you can make your home environment more stimulating, more interesting, more inspiring, to satisfy that desire. Or maybe even more, because this is about a professional reading, maybe even more lucrative. So, if money is the reason why you're thinking about going back to work, are there ways in which you could make money right from home? Are there ways in which you could make money with the skills that you have, with the environment that you have, with the tools that you have, without returning to like full time employment outside of the home? That might be an option for you. Oh, you're pumping your tits right now. Listen, we need those, right? We need those. Literally, life depends on those bad boys, right? So let's keep them happy and healthy. And let's not push ourselves into a time, where we couldn't. Also, like, this is very much maybe turning into a reading for you, Mariah. I hope the other air signs are also resonating with this message of now is not the time to change course or change location. What it is that you are wanting to take on to your plate is a little bit much for what you're ready for right now. Sorry if that's disappointing, but it's only because Spirit wants you to not be hurt or fail at it. And there might be a better time for this, but right now just isn't it. But you also have the Magician coming up in the reverse. The magician is very capable. The magician has a lot of tools at their disposal and is able to make things happen and make something out of nothing. And this is saying, don't do that. Don't do that right now. Now is not the time to be casting for the new thing or, anything like that. But for you specifically, Mariah, I love the imagery on this here. Okay, because I feel like this is a message that, listen, when you're at home, you can get some loving. You can keep getting loved on. You know what I'm saying? And maybe your partner isn't really quite ready to have you out of the house just yet. Maybe that feeling of like being able to just hug randomly in the middle of the day, or, stop and grab your boobs, grab your butt, like love on that, post pregnancy body. They might really be enjoying that, and not quite be ready to not have you there to really kind of get their fill of you in this state that you're in. And you need that too, I think. Also, that's really helping you in your healing and in your process as well, to be loved on, to be grabbed on, to be available for those moments, when the spirit moves for either one of you to want to just kind of grab each other and be physical. So I feel like that's really specific for you. KJ's nodding along. Maybe mommy and me yoga. Oh, children things are very lucrative. You are so absolutely right about that, Takara. Excellent idea. Yeah, maybe some of the things that you do from home can even actually include your child, and that could turn out to be so wonderful that you don't even need to go back to somebody else's thing. But this magician in the reverse for the air signs is saying, look, now is really not the time to try to force anything. Okay, so the magician is really capable, but the problem with the magician is, and I say this at the start of my ethical crafting class, just because we can doesn't mean we should. And that's one of the lessons that the witch has to learn, because we become really competent and capable of making things happen. And so sometimes we forget to stop and check in and see whether or not making that thing happen really is super wise, or really in alignment with our greatest good. Sometimes we get a little bit carried away with the fact that we can make things happen. Hi, Jeanette. You know, um, so yeah, even though you have magical abilities, and you could force this issue, and you could manifest a job outside of the home, you could manifest a new place, you could manifest a new um, environment, etc. Spirit is really saying no, no. Page of Swords and Chariot in reverse. You're not quite ready. Don't rush it. Look around the environment that you're currently in and see how you can better maximize it and take advantage of it. And don't force this. Enjoy this moment. Okay, and that's actually going to do more for you professionally than trying to move to the next thing. I think that's air signs. I think you would say that that's very common for you as air signs. You're with the breeze, right? So sometimes there's a tendency to be like, well, let me try this thing. Let me go over there. Well, maybe this would work better there. Let me go do that thing. And Spirit's saying, no. Stay still for a moment. Let's be really ready before we move into something else, if that even ultimately turns out to be necessary. Okay. So I know that resonated with Mariah. If that resonated with any of the other sun, moon, rising, or Mars air signs, and you can say thank you for my time, and thank you to my spirit guides for the message with a super chat. If you want to dive deeper into this yourself for your own personal situations, and you can book a private reading with me. And the one I recommend people book at this time of year is the 6-month projection reading. All of my readings cost the same. They're all 30 minutes long. You have your choice of style, and I would choose the 6-month projection. So we can take a look at what July through December is going to look like for you, and prepare you for the second half of the year. I am teaching a class tomorrow in the BronxWitch HQ online portal called Launching Your Spiritual Enterprise, Crucial Foundations to Lasting Success. So for my witchpreneurs, my tarot readers, energy healers, crystal workers, candle makers, if you feel called to turn your spiritual gifts into a business that you can replace your 9-to-5 with, I'm going to be teaching you how to do that using magical principles to set up the foundations for a lasting business. And I'm getting really excited for this summer because I'm going to be offering for the first time my BetterWitch Business Intensive. Some of you are familiar with the BetterWitch Magic Intensive, which is my 6-month long program for anybody who wants to go from baby witch to better witch. But for this summer, I'm going to be doing a 6-week intensive called the BetterWitch Business Intensive, where I'm going to be helping you with business formation, with marketing strategy, with mindset shifting, with time management. I'm going to be introducing you to all of the professionals that I have worked with: social media manager, accountant, business lawyer, etc., to help you go from a good, strong business foundation to a business that's capable of making you 6 figures. So it's called 6 Weeks to 6 Figures. And I'm really excited for that. That kicks off right after the next full moon in Capricorn, July 24th. And if you're interested in any of that, you can find the links in the description of this video. Mariah says, I got to book with you soon. Yeah. It's been a minute since we've had a 6-month projection. I know you like to do those, which I highly recommend. I think it's such a good idea. So yeah, definitely. See you soon. Good night, my dear. Good night to the baby. All right, you guys. So shout out to Marie13, designer of this beautiful, sexy, exotic, kinky, very queer deck, the M13 tarot deck. I have one of only 300 of the decks that were created. No more of this particular design of cards are going to be created, and you can win the other brand new unopened M13 tarot that Modern Magic shop in Russia so kindly sent to me. We are doing a giveaway at the shop for the month of June in honor of Pride, to support this queer content creator, this queer card creator. We are giving away that deck to one lucky witch. And the only thing you have to do to enter is to leave a review of the shop on our Google page. So just Google BronxWitch HeadQuarters and leave us a review. Whether you've been to the shop physically, you've bought an online class, you're part of the coven, you have attended one of our events, you just really like our website. Every review is an entry into the contest. US participants only, because we do have to ship it to you if you're not in New York. Okay, but if you love these images, then you can win this deck, super limited edition. And it's super easy to win it. All right. So I think that's all for me, guys. I'm going to be heading off into my late night writing session. If you can believe it or not, it is not quite bedtime for me yet. I have one more thing to do on my very detailed daily calendar. But I got the 21-day challenge just ended on Friday for me, but I'm still going with my project. So I'm going to be doing that for a little while and then heading off to bed. If you're in the New York City area, come see me at the shop Wednesday through Sunday, except not this Sunday because we're all going to Pride. But typically Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 7 at the shop. All right. All right, witches. Good night. Thanks for hanging out with me in this random surprise live. Pray all those messages resonated with each of you. And I'll see you in a session. I'll see you in class, or I'll see you in the next live. Blessed be. You're welcome.